The following video was recorded by a man who works at a warehouse, a place he knows better than almost anyone else. He's familiar with every hallway, every switch, every sound the building makes when it's settling at night, which is exactly why what started happening didn't sit right with him. One day after finishing his shift, he returned briefly to the warehouse to check something he thought he'd forgotten. Then this happened. Watch.
I'm about to quit. Shit.
When he entered, he tried to turn on the light switch, but nothing came on. And just before he steps inside, a woman's voice can be heard clearly, but according to him, no women worked that shift. And at that hour, he was certain that side of the building should have been empty. At first, he tried to rationalize it. Maybe someone had stayed late, or maybe his mind was playing tricks on him after a long day. But over the next several days, strange things continued to happen. Tools wouldn't be where they were left, motion sensors triggered in empty sections of the warehouse, and doors were found unlocked that should have been sealed for the night. Eventually, he reported everything to his boss. The boss, hoping for a simple explanation, decided to review the security footage, convinced it would put the whole situation to rest. Instead, it made things worse. Watch this.
What the? No, I ain't seen this. Oh my God. What the fuck? Y'all, this shit is wild. It happened right in here. That is fucking crazy. Y'all see that on camera? Rewind the camera back. That's fucking crazy. I gotta be in here one day when it's dark so I can catch that. Wow. It's insane, y'all.
A white apparition can be seen moving freely through the warehouse as if it belongs there. Some viewers believe warehouses like this are especially prone to activity. They're large, quiet spaces, often built decades ago, sometimes on repurposed land. Many operate late into the night, creating long stretches of isolation, the kind of environment where strange things can go unnoticed for years. Others speculate the spirit could be tied to a past worker, someone who spent countless hours inside the building and never truly left. Skeptics argue it could be dust, light reflection, or camera artifact, but those explanations don't account for the voice heard earlier or the repeated disturbances reported by multiple employees. Until more updates are shared, this remains unsolved. In this next clip, a family opens up about a series of unsettling events that began shortly after they brought a Ouija board into their home. At first, it seemed like a fun game to play, but not long after, things around the house started to feel off. Strange sounds at night, objects not being where they were left, and a lingering sense that someone was watching. When they shared their experiences with friends and family, most people brushed it off. They were told they were overreacting, imagining things, or simply letting fear get the best of them. So instead of arguing, they decided to show proof. This is the video they shared. Watch. At first, people focused on the Ouija board itself, the way it suddenly fell without an obvious explanation. But what truly disturbed viewers wasn't the board hitting the floor, it was what happened after. Later in the video, their son can be seen having access to the Ouija board, playing with it, and this made a lot of people deeply uncomfortable. In paranormal belief systems, Ouija boards are often described as portals or communication tools, not toys. Many believe they don't just invite one presence, but anything willing to respond, and children, in particular, are thought to be more vulnerable, more open, less guarded, and more easily targeted. That combination alone was enough to alarm viewers. Not long after, the activity in the house continued to escalate, so they decided to leave the camera recording, and what it captured raised even more concern. Watch. Some viewers think the child wasn't reacting to the chair at all, but to whatever caused it to move. When you connect everything together, the introduction of the Ouija board, the child interacting with it, the unexplained movement, and the fear response, a pattern begins to form. Those who believe in the dangers of spirit communication say this is exactly how things start. Not with something violent or obvious, but with small disturbances that slowly grow more confident the longer they're acknowledged. Until the family shares more updates, this one remains unsolved. Now, in this next clip, another family reached a point where they could no longer explain what was happening inside their home. Whispers when only one person was home, objects shifting when no one was near them, and that unmistakable feeling that someone else was in the room, even when everyone was accounted for. Eventually, they installed cameras, hoping for answers. One evening, while they were in the living room, this happened.
Storytelling, which you cannot think. When you think from the heart and you mean what you think, it's a beautiful moment and a beautiful thing. And, well, it's a beautiful moment and a beautiful thing. And
this time, it was a drawer sliding open on its own. Other nights, it's unexplained knocking, heavy footsteps moving through the house, and often, it's their cat reacting violently, freezing, bolting down hallways, or staring into empty spaces as if something is moving just out of sight. They've walked room to room for minutes at a time, trying to find a logical cause, and coming up empty every time. On time, the husband was working from home, then this happened.
See, it's still happening. Honestly, this is all the time. Whoa, Jesus. The cat scared the shit out of me. Rory, you were really scaring the shit out of me. I know Rory didn't do that. going on? What the f happened, Rory?
The door begins to rattle aggressively, like someone is trying to get inside. But what makes this more unsettling is how the tunnel toy that had been lying on the floor suddenly appeared on the couch moments later. No one touched it, no one walked past it, and yet it had clearly been moved. When you connect these moments, the drawer opening, the knocking, the footsteps, the animal reactions, the door rattling, and objects changing locations, a pattern starts to emerge. But what do you think? Is this just an old house playing tricks on its owners? Or is there something else sharing the space with them? I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. In the following video, Nolan fell asleep on his couch, and his Ring camera captured one of the most terrifying moments he's ever experienced. Watch closely. After the footage surfaced, many viewers began connecting this moment to Nolan going to sleep with several candles around the room. Candles are often considered more than just a source of light. They're thought to act as beacons, drawing attention, energy, or presence, especially when lit intentionally and left burning in quiet or vulnerable moments like sleep. Some believe candles can unintentionally invite interaction, particularly in spaces that may already hold residual or active energy. Skeptics argue it could be pressure changes or a mechanical issue with the door, but that explanation becomes harder to accept when you consider the timing, the force of the slam, and the fact that nothing else in the house appears to move. So what do you think? Is the door slam just a freak accident, or did the candles unintentionally draw something closer while Nolan slept? You decide. Now this next clip is about Smith, the kind of guy who always looks for a logical explanation first. He's the "there has to be a reason for this" type. Drafts, old wiring, loose pipes. Smith believes everything can be explained if you look hard enough. But when the activity started in his house, even his rational mindset began to crack. It didn't start with flickering lights or doors slamming shut. It started with knocking coming from his basement at odd hours, late at night, sometimes early in the morning. He tore that basement apart looking for an explanation. Pipes? Nothing. Rodents? No signs. Structural issues? Everything checked out. One morning, while he was in the living room, this happened. This is not the first time books are suddenly thrown from their shelves. Not falling, not sliding, but launched outward. Smith has thought to himself several times, objects don't move away from a surface on their own unless something applies force. So this is where the situation crosses from unexplained into intelligent interaction. Another night, Smith's home camera captured something far more disturbing. Watch. a shadowy figure can be seen moving through the kitchen area. It doesn't look like a trick of the light or passing headlights. The shape has form, movement, and direction, like something walking through a space it knows well. Shadows like this are often described as shadow entities, figures that don't fully manifest but still interact with their environment. Taken together, the knocking that stops when he approaches, the books being thrown, and the shadow figure moving through the house, many believe Smith isn't dealing with random activity. Some speculate it could be a territorial entity attached to the house, using the basement as its focal point. Others think Smith himself may be the trigger, his constant investigation and skepticism unintentionally challenging whatever is there. And in paranormal lore, entities don't always respond kindly to being dismissed or tested. So what is Smith dealing with? A residual haunting doesn't fit. There's too much interaction. A simple explanation falls apart under scrutiny. So if this is something intelligent, then the real question is, why is it starting to make itself known now? Nick was at home with his girlfriend, casually recording a video of her talking about what she was watching on TV, for reasons that aren't even important to what happens next. The moment seems completely normal. Just the two of them, inside, relaxed, unaware of anything unusual. The camera stays pointed toward her, but in the background behind them, a window faces outside into the dark.
Beth. Hello. What are you doing?
TV.
TV?
Yeah.
What are you watching?
99 bizarre things.
Huh. Well.
As the video plays back later, they notice something neither of them saw at the time. A faint, ghostly figure passes by the window, moving across the glass for only a second before vanishing out of view. It doesn't look like a reflection, and there was no one outside when they checked. The realization hits after the fact, turning an ordinary clip into something unsettling. Now they're left reviewing the footage over and over, unsure what they captured or what they're supposed to do about it, trying to figure out their options while knowing they can't explain what walked past that window. For a while, strange noises had been coming from the basement. Sounds that didn't match the usual creaks of a house settling. There was consistent knocking, along with what sounded like rummaging and movement, like something was shifting around down there when no one should have been. The noises went on long enough to make it impossible to ignore. Eventually, Smith grabbed his camera, deciding to document whatever was happening, and slowly opened the basement door.
There's been noises coming from this door all morning. I'll just sit here and record it for a minute.
The moment the door cracked open, every single sound stopped. No more knocking, no movement, just silence. He made his way down the stairs cautiously, step by step, the camera scanning the dark space at the bottom. But when he reached the basement floor, there was nothing there. No fallen items, no animals, no sign that anything had been moving at all, leaving only the memory of the noise and the uneasy feeling that whatever made it had stopped the second he came looking. This next clip brings back a woman from a previous Haunter video who previously found a camera with blood on it along the trail and later shared the disturbing forest footage of a black figure hiding, so new viewers understand the situation surrounding her. In this separate video, she's at home, filming herself in bed, visibly shaken and crying after being woken up suddenly in the night. She keeps repeating that it's in her house and that it's coming for her, her voice panicked and exhausted, like this isn't the first time it's happened.
It's the middle of the night and I just got woke up again. It's coming for me. It's in my house. The noises are coming from the kitchen. Listen. That's the noise that wakes me up every night. It wakes me up in my dreams. It wakes me up from my sleep. I have to catch it on camera.
She turns the camera toward her bedroom door, and from deeper in the house, loud banging noises can be heard coming from the kitchen area, heavy enough to echo through the walls. She explains that the same sounds have been waking her up repeatedly at night, leaving her afraid to sleep. The combination of her fear, the unexplained noise, and her connection to the earlier footage makes the situation feel far more serious than just a random disturbance. Later in the same video, she leaves the bedroom and moves into the living room, right beside the kitchen, trying to steady her breathing while still recording. Her breaths are deep and shaky, like she's trying to calm herself enough to face whatever she thinks is there. The camera slowly turns toward the kitchen, and that's when she points it out.
You see that? There's a shadow in the corner of the kitchen. I know I'm not seeing things. I know I'm not. I know you guys saw that. I'm going back out there.
A dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing inside the kitchen area, not moving, just present. She whispers that it's there, her voice trembling but certain, and the shape appears to match the same dark figure seen earlier in the forest footage. It doesn't approach or react, just remains in place, which somehow makes it feel worse. She insists she isn't imagining it, staying close enough to film it clearly, convinced the presence from before has somehow followed her home. Later, she's back in bed again, filming herself through tears, her face fed up and exhausted like she hasn't slept properly in days. She flips the camera around and asks viewers if they can hear it too. At first, it's faint, but there are clear speaking noises somewhere in the house, low and distant, but unmistakably voice-like.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house?
She slowly leaves the bedroom and walks into the main living space, the camera shaking slightly in her hands. The sounds become clearer there, taking on a womanly tone, saying strange, unclear things that echo through the room. What makes it worse is the situation she keeps repeating. She is completely alone in the house. No TV is on, no one else is there, yet the voice continues, filling the space while she stands there recording, crying, and trying to understand who or what is speaking. As the video continues, she explains through a state of deep distress that everything has been getting worse, and that she hasn't told anyone around her because she's afraid of how it sounds. Her voice is tired, defeated, like she's been carrying this alone for too long. Then something happens that completely breaks her composure.
It's getting worse, and I haven't been able to tell anyone or go anywhere because I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anyone who's believing me. At first, it was my sister, but now I hear my mom. And she doesn't live here. She lives on the other side of the country, and I just called her, and she's in her own home. She's not here right now. So who is that? I've gone through the whole entire apartment. There is no one else here but me. No one else.
From somewhere in the house, She hears a voice calling out hello, and she freezes. She says it sounds exactly like her mum. The problem is, her mum is at her own home, nowhere near the house. The familiarity of the voice makes it more disturbing than anything else so far, because it's not just a random sound, it's personal, precise, and impossible to explain, leaving her standing there in shock, trying to process how something could copy someone she knows so closely. It simply makes no sense. At this point, she seems more determined than before, still scared, but trying to confront whatever is happening. There's knocking again, this time coming directly from her bedroom door. It's slow and deliberate, not random house noise, but spaced knocks that sound intentional. She calls out, asking who it is and what it wants, her voice shaky, but louder than before.
It's back again. It's back again tonight. Who is it? What do you want? I know you guys think it's a prank or something, but it's not. It's not. Something else is here.
In response, the door handle shifts and the door creaks open on its own, inch by inch, slow enough to make every second feel stretched out. She forces herself to get up and walk toward it, camera still recording, and looks behind the door and into the hallway. Nothing is there, no movement, no person, no explanation, but somehow that makes it worse, because now it's not just making sounds or showing shapes, it's physically moving parts of the house, interacting with her space while remaining completely unseen. In one last clip from the woman, she is seen leaving her apartment building and heading toward the car park, still recording as if she doesn't feel safe moving alone anymore. The area is dim, lit only by scattered lights, and she keeps scanning around as she walks. Then she zooms in toward her car, and that's when viewers notice it.
I was just walking out of my apartment. And look. You see that? You see that shadow? It's following me.
Behind the vehicle, partially obscured by shadow, the same dark figure shape appears to be standing there, still and silent, matching the form seen in the forest and inside her home. It doesn't move, but its presence alone is enough to make the moment feel heavy. Whether all of this is a coincidence caused by lighting and angles, or something far more real, no one can say for sure. What I do know is you should subscribe for more videos like this. The Midwest ghost hunter is back again, continuing his exploration of the same abandoned factory where he's been documenting some seriously unnerving encounters. For anyone new, he's a solo investigator who's been visiting this building for weeks now, and every single time the activity seems to ramp up even more. This latest clip only adds to the mystery.
Are you working? Dude, it sounded like footsteps up there. Like hard, heavy footsteps. Oh my God. My heart is racing. But as you can see, there's no one up there. Is it alright if I come up there? Am I authorized? Could you make a noise to let me know? Shoot, well, I'm coming up anyway. Hope you don't mind. Oh gosh, these stairs are steep. Oh. Oh, geez. All right, I think I'm gonna try a spirit box session up here. See if I can communicate with any of the workers. If there's anybody up here, I got a device here that you can speak through. Could you speak to me? Damn, it is dark up here, guys. This is what I'm seeing, just to show you. Pitch black. And I gotta carry this spirit box and this camera, so I ain't got a light. Whoa. That was a man's voice right there. Are you saying your name? Who are you? Whoa.
As he's walking through one of the upper levels, he suddenly hears disembodied footsteps climbing the metal stairs ahead of him. The sound is loud, clear, and paced just like a person would walk, but there's nobody on the upper section at all. He stands at the bottom listening, calling out and asking if he's allowed to come up, and the footsteps immediately stop. He asks whatever's there to make another noise to confirm he is allowed up, but the entire building goes silent. Since he doesn't get an answer, he decides to go up anyway, climbing the metal steps with his night vision helping. At the top, he pulls out his spirit box, asking directly for a sign that something is actually with him. After a few bursts of static, a voice comes through clearly saying, "Eddie," followed by another message that sounds like they lost their balance into Ian's equipment, almost like someone was standing right next to him, explaining what happened. Between the footsteps, the direct responses, and the eerily personal messages, this might be one of the most convincing moments he's ever captured in that factory. Clowns have always been creepy, even when they are not doing anything at all, and this CCTV clip does absolutely nothing to help their case. The camera was set up facing a clown mannequin sitting upright on a sofa, its painted smile frozen and eyes staring forward in that way that already feels wrong before anything even happens. The house was empty at the time, no pets, no people, nothing that should have caused movement. For a while, the footage shows nothing but stillness until the mannequin's right arm slowly begins to slide off the armrest. It does not drop or flop the way gravity would make it. Instead, it moves sideways in a controlled, steady motion, lowering until it comes to rest against the side of the clown's body. What makes it even more unsettling is where it stops. The hand ends up positioned right next to the clown's hat, almost like it was deliberately reaching for it. No vibrations, no one-off camera, no visible reason for the movement at all. After the arm settles, nothing else moves for the rest of the recording, leaving the mannequin frozen once again, just in a slightly different pose than before. The owner later said they noticed the arm had changed position when reviewing the footage, and immediately removed the mannequin from the house, because apparently there are limits to what people are willing to coexist with, and a clown adjusting itself when no one is around is one of them. Two friends named Stevie and Ron were filming a light-hearted moment in their living room when something took a sharp turn into the unsettling. They had the camera pointed at their two rabbits on the floor, laughing as Stevie teased one of them by dangling a floppy carrot just inches from its face. The mood was relaxed and wholesome, the kind of clip you'd expect to end with nothing more than a rabbit chewing contentedly.
You don't want that shit.
Do you hear something outside?
Yeah, where's it coming from? There's something like
crouching down there.
Yeah, could you get the light? Yeah. What? Back there. Where did it go? Did you see where it went?
What? I don't know. I thought it ran down the alley.
Did you see which way?
Yeah. I don't see any.
The black rabbit suddenly lunges forward and headbutts the carrot, snapping the end clean off, as both Stevie and Ron burst out laughing. But their laughter cuts short almost immediately when they both pause and look toward a window off camera. They mention hearing a noise from outside, even though nothing is picked up clearly on the audio. As Stevie slowly pans the camera toward the glass, something strange comes into view. Just beyond the window, low to the ground, there's a dark shape crouched in a way that doesn't look like any animal they can recognize. It's still for a second, like it knows it's being watched. Ron knocks on the window to scare it off, and instantly, the shape bolts away at an unnatural speed. The two rush outside to check, filming the empty yard and surrounding area, but there's nothing there at all. No footsteps, no animals, no sign anything had been crouching there moments earlier. What started as a harmless rabbit video ended with both of them convinced they'd just seen something that wasn't supposed to be there. Lean is standing just a few feet away from a door that won't stop being knocked on, the sound coming fast and aggressive like something on the other side is desperate to get in. The camera shakes slightly as the door itself begins to rattle in its frame, each knock making it flex more than it should.
Son 3 de la mañana. Hace rato que no escuchaba esto ahí. Ya estoy con mucho menos miedo que antes. Ahora lo afronto más rápido. Esto no sé, la verdad que voy a ver. Voy a tratar de grabar de acá. Carajo. Miren lo alto que es. No lo puedo creer. No, sos hijo de puta. Que me miran, hijo de puta. ¿Quién sos, hijo de puta? ¿Quién sos? No hay nadie abajo, no hay nada. Es increíble. No, es increíble. No puedo creer que no haya nadie.
After a few tense seconds, the door suddenly cracks open on its own. Lean steps to the side, angling the camera so it now captures the bathroom behind it. That's when something even more disturbing appears. Above the shower curtain, a dark, head-shaped shadow starts moving back and forth, clearly visible against the lighter wall. Lean lowers the camera deliberately to show the floor beneath the curtain, proving there are no legs, no feet, nothing standing there. The shadow keeps shifting anyway. Fighting panic, he reaches forward and yanks the curtain back. The shower is completely empty. No one inside. No place for anything to hide. The knocking has stopped. The shadow is gone, and the bathroom is silent. Whatever was at that door moments earlier vanished the second he confronted it. Daniel works graveyard shifts at a hospital, the kind of quiet hours where every sound feels louder than it should. And he says that for weeks, one specific door has been opening and closing on its own during his rounds. At first, He blamed air pressure or faulty hinges because that is what a rational adult does before accepting nightmare logic. But it kept happening in the same way, at the same time, night after night. Eventually, he got tired of explaining it away and decided to record.
This door keeps on opening and closing. Like, there's nobody here. I'm not doing the sensor. But it keeps on opening and closing. And I'm alone. I'm alone.
The camera shows an empty corridor, lights humming softly, when the door at the end slowly begins to move. It opens with a long, dragged-out creak, inch by inch, as if someone unseen is carefully pulling it toward them. Daniel stays completely silent, clearly not wanting to interrupt whatever is happening. After a few seconds, the door stops. Then just as unnervingly, it starts to close again, reversing the motion at the same slow, deliberate pace until it settles back into place. There is no rush of air, no footsteps, no shadow passing by. Daniel later explained this was exactly how it always happened. Never slamming, never sudden, almost controlled. Hospital staff checked the area the next morning and found nothing wrong with the door at all. Since then, Daniel says he avoids that corridor whenever he can, because whatever is opening that door seems to know exactly when he is there. Roy's footage starts already in chaos, the kind that makes your stomach tighten before anything even happens. The camera is shaking as he runs into a room, slams the door shut behind him, and locks it while breathing heavily, clearly panicked by something chasing him through the apartment. Whatever scared him enough to run is still out there. Almost immediately, slow knocking begins on the door he just locked, each knock spaced out and deliberate, like whoever or whatever is on the other side knows he is listening. Then the pace changes. The knocks speed up, growing louder and more aggressive, until it sounds like the door is being tested. After a long pause, Roy finally works up the courage to open it. As the door creaks open, the camera reveals something even stranger. Inside the room is another closed door, facing him directly. Before he can react, that second door suddenly swings open on its own, fast and forceful, as if someone yanked it from the other side. The clip cuts immediately after. Roy later explained that this was the final straw for him. Since then, the activity has only escalated, and he is actively trying to move out of the apartment, convinced whatever is there does not want him staying any longer. Hannah is walking through a building that's completely silent, the kind of silence that feels wrong rather than peaceful. From the layout and the tiny furniture scattered around, it looks like an abandoned daycare. She keeps the camera steady as she moves down the hallway, aware that no one else is supposed to be there with her. As she steps into one of the rooms, the camera settles on a small doll sitting upright on a child-sized chair in the corner. It looks harmless at first, just another forgotten toy left behind. But then, without anyone touching it, the doll shifts. Its body tilts slightly, adjusting its position on the chair as if it just moved on its own. Hannah gasps and instinctively steps back, quickly panning the camera to show there's no string, no one nearby, nothing that could have caused it. The rest of the room is empty, and the building remains dead silent. She doesn't stay long after that. Later, Hannah explained that she left the building immediately and refused to go back inside alone. Whatever was still playing in that daycare clearly wasn't ready to be left behind. Aiden starts recording after days of unexplained activity in his home, convinced that whatever's been happening isn't just his imagination anymore. He keeps the camera steady, focused on a cabinet in his kitchen that he claims has been causing problems on its own.
I feel some paranormal activity going on. There it is. Paranormal activity. I knew it.
At first, nothing happens, and the room is completely silent. Then, without warning, the left side of the cabinet slowly pulls open by itself. There's no one near it, no visible force, and no sudden movement of air that could explain it. Aiden reacts instantly, informing the audience as he keeps the camera trained on the cabinet, half expecting it to move again. It doesn't. The door just hangs there, wide open, like it was deliberately left that way. After the clip, Aiden explained that this wasn't the first time things like this had happened, but it was the first time he managed to catch it on camera. Since then, he says the activity has been getting more frequent, and he's now convinced there's something in his house that knows exactly when it's being watched. This next clip comes from Ian, a familiar face for anyone who's followed Midwest ghost hunting for a while. He's back in the same abandoned factory he's explored before, a place already known for making people uneasy. At this point in the investigation, Ian is walking alone through a deeper section of the building, clearly worn down, but still pushing forward. He briefly discovers what looks like an old elevator shaft, but doesn't linger long because he says the area instantly makes him feel dizzy and disoriented, like the air itself is off. He moves away and ends up wandering into a bizarre, maze-like section of the factory, with narrow pathways and hanging sheets of torn material that force him to physically push through just to keep going.
Elevator shaft. God. Imagine falling down that. Hell no, I can't even look at stuff like that. I get woozy. Oh, whoa. This looks like a freaky maze. Do I dare go in here? Ah, screw it. Why not? Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, that thunder. It almost sounded like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What the f? Dude, the f***ing strobe lights are on. Get me out of here, get me out of here. I can't f***ing see. Dude, what the hell was that about? Those freaking things just came on by themselves. Who just turned those lights on? Oh my god, I about fainted when that freaking happened. I wonder if maybe they're motion censored. Maybe they just detected my motion and turned on. Oh god, I don't want to go back in there, but gotta test it out. Oh, my goodness, it's getting tangled. Oh, the lights aren't going off. What the hell? What's going on? These things should be going off. Look, I'm already on the other side now. Oh man, oh. Yeah, like I'm moving all around in here. And there's nothing. They aren't going off. If you're still in here, could you trigger the lights?
As he makes his way through, the strobe lights in the area suddenly switch on by themselves, flashing violently and lighting up the maze in short, disorienting bursts. Ian immediately reacts, confused and unsettled, assuming they must be motion activated. To test it, he backs out and retraces his steps, deliberately walking the same path again. But this time, nothing happens. The lights stay completely off, no matter how much he moves. That's when it really sinks in that whatever triggered them before wasn't just motion. The randomness of it, combined with the oppressive layout of the factory, makes this one of the most unsettling moments of his entire investigation, and it's clear the building wasn't done messing with him yet. In the following clip from the Epic Paranormal channel, the team leader is exploring an old jail in West Virginia, a place with a long history and a reputation for intense activity, especially in one specific cell block. As they walk through the narrow corridor, the atmosphere already feels heavy, and the investigator mentions feeling like something is right behind him. That uneasy feeling is what makes him pull out his camera and start recording.
Sorry, this camera's got really bad autofocus. It looked like there was a person there. Right there in front of me, it looked like there was a person. So, let me know what you think about that. Was it just the camera not focusing on the distal part of the cell? Or did you think it was something legitimate? I want to put this out there for people to comment on and get opinions. Thanks.
He slowly moves from cell to cell, shining his light across the walls, pointing out the strange drawings and writing carved into almost every surface, each one more unsettling than the last. While he's focused on documenting the markings inside a cell, he doesn't notice anything unusual in the moment. It's only later, when reviewing the footage, that something disturbing becomes clear. As he turns the camera back toward the corridor, a dark, human-shaped silhouette briefly appears behind him, standing silently before vanishing just as quickly. There's no sound, no movement caught on audio, just the unmistakable outline of what looks like a person where nobody should have been. The jail was empty, except for him, and there was nowhere for someone to hide or move that fast without being seen. That single frame changed everything, turning a routine investigation into one of their most chilling pieces of evidence yet. In this next clip, The narrator, Ashton, was reviewing old footage from a live stream when they noticed something that still gives them chills. At first glance, it looks completely normal. His mother is sitting calmly on the sofa, watching TV, unaware she's even being filmed. But if you look closely, there's something very wrong.
If you guys look next to my mother, you guys will see this weird looking figure on the right. My dad got a package that day at 2020 10 14 13 32 50. Now, as you can see, when he moved, it was still right there. Who was out on the couch with my mom? My sister was in the kitchen, I was upstairs, and my dad was doing a package. Who was that? Let's get a little closer look. I can't tell who that is. If you guys know who that is, comment down below, because I really cannot tell.
Sitting right beside her is a strange, human-shaped figure, close enough that their shoulders almost touch. It doesn't look solid, but it's not faint either. The shape has a head, a torso, and an unsettling posture, like it's deliberately seated there. What makes it worse is that everyone else in the house was busy in other rooms at the time, meaning no one should have been anywhere near her. The figure doesn't move, doesn't react, and disappears entirely by the time the camera angle changes. When Ashton showed the footage to his mother later, her reaction made it even creepier. She confirmed she never saw or felt anyone sitting next to her at all. She was completely alone, or at least she thought she was. Ashton says that since discovering this, he's gone back through other recordings, worried this wasn't the first time something like that had appeared near his family without them ever noticing. After settling into his new apartment just a week earlier, this man thought everything felt normal at first. The first night passed without issue, but on the second night, while lying in bed, he watched his bedroom door slowly open on its own. He brushed it off, telling himself it had to be air pressure or a faulty hinge. By the third night, though, things escalated. Around 11 p.m., he was relaxing in bed when he noticed something in the corner of the landing outside his room. It wasn't fully visible, just a faint shape, but he could clearly make out half of a face staring back at him. That's when he grabbed his phone and started recording.
Okay, so this is my apartment, guys. So I moved here in around July, and at least I think around, it was like last week I moved in. And the first day it was nice and peaceful and everything was good, but then, you know, while I was here in my bedroom, it's nothing, but all of a sudden lately I've been having very strange, kind of some weird paranormal type stuff where the doors opening by itself. And that was actually the second night. It was the second night. Then I think it was around 11. I was kind of in my office, but I was going to bed, and all of a sudden I look at this weird looking creepy apparition that was kind of exactly around right in the same air corner, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh crap. So I kind of ran. I'm like, what the heck is that? And it had hands, and I saw half of his face, but it looked like white, ghostly. I don't know what it is, but very weird. It was very weird. But then all of a sudden, it's just crazy. Oh snap! What the heck? What the heck? Hello? What the heck? Y'all see that? Man, that thing drove by itself and there's no wind drag or nothing. Look at the fan, look at that fan, the fan working. What the heck? Y'all saw that, right? This is what I'm talking about. It's doing it by itself. Nobody there. The frick is wrong with this? And to me, now, sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, but the air ain't on. And it usually come on. But goodness gracious, that was just weird. But this is what I'm talking about. And then 2 days ago, I decided, because I didn't get no videos from last week when I moved in. This time I had to do the video it was on Thursday. And I had my tripod. And I was like, okay, let me put this down and see what happens. Then all of a sudden, here comes a weird figure coming through the hallway. Coming through the dark hallway like it's crazy. Right in that corner. But the camera flipped the other way. It was the other way. So it was actually that way. But it was in that corner. So it's very weird. Well, very creepy stuff happening in my apartment. But I'm gonna need some paranormals out here. Man, I'll let you know if I see anything strange up there. But what you just saw, I think that there was no, I ain't seen, I don't know, I did not see nothing. And it just opened by itself. Nothing.
As he explains what he's been experiencing, trying to stay calm while clearly shaken, the unthinkable happens again. Right behind him, the bedroom door slowly opens on its own, almost on cue, as if responding to his story. He freezes for a moment before forcing himself out of bed, nervously talking through his confusion as he walks toward it. He looks around, showing there's nothing and no one that could have caused it, then shuts the door himself. The room falls silent, but the timing is impossible to ignore. For him, that was all the confirmation he needed, that whatever he saw in the corner wasn't just his imagination, and whatever was in that apartment clearly wasn't done with him yet. Now the footage switches to a static camera he set up on the landing outside his bedroom, hoping that if something was really there, it would finally show itself without him being in the room. He leaves it recording overnight and doesn't check it until the next morning. What he finds is unsettling. The landing sits completely still for a while, empty and quiet, until a dark shape slowly appears from behind the edge of the doorway. It doesn't step out fully. Instead, it leans just enough for what looks like the outline of a head and shoulder to be visible, as if it's cautiously peeking into the hallway. The shape lingers there for a few seconds, unmoving, before slowly pulling back out of sight again. There's no light change. No shadow from passing cars, nothing that could explain it. After that moment, nothing else happens for the rest of the night. When he reviewed the clip, he said the position of the shadow lined up exactly with where he thought he saw the face the night before. Since setting up the camera, he hasn't slept properly, and he's now considering moving out entirely. Whatever was watching him that night clearly knew where he was, and worse, it seemed comfortable letting itself be seen. Franco was exploring a location that already had a reputation for being deeply unsettling, a place locals openly described as demonic, despite the religious crosses lining the area. Even before anything happened, the atmosphere felt wrong, heavy and quiet, in a way that makes every sound stand out. He kept his camera rolling as he moved through the space, trying to document whatever he could.
What the hell is that?
Hola. Hola. What was that? Hola. Holy, I literally saw something peeking out at me right over here.
While scanning the graveyard, something suddenly catches his attention behind a large cube. A pale, human-like face slowly peeks out from the side, just enough to be seen on camera. It lingers there for a moment, completely still, before retreating out of sight as if it realized it had been noticed. Franco immediately moves closer, rounding the cube to see who or what was hiding there. But there's nothing at all, and nowhere it could have escaped to. He even circles the area again, checking every angle, but the space is completely empty. Given the site's history and the number of people who've reported similar sightings, Franco believes this wasn't just his imagination. Whatever briefly revealed itself behind that cube didn't want to be seen for long, and it vanished just as quickly as it appeared. A man was sleeping on the couch late at night for reasons he never fully explains, positioned uncomfortably close to a life-size clown mannequin he kept in the room as part of a collection. The house was quiet, lights low, when the clock on the wall suddenly chimed 3 in the morning, loud enough to jolt someone awake, but not him. As the final chime echoes, the clown beside him begins to move. Its arm slowly rises out to the side, stiff at first, then lowers back down as if it completed a deliberate motion. Just when it seems to stop, the feet twitch slightly, wiggling against the floor for a brief moment before going completely still again. The man stays fast asleep, breathing heavily and becoming jittery. The mannequin doesn't move back, almost like it knows it's been caught. He later said the clown had no batteries, no internal mechanism, and had never moved before that night. After reviewing the footage multiple times, he decided the mannequin was no longer staying in his house. Some objects just feel wrong to keep around after something like that. Nick had been trying to communicate with what he believes is a presence in his house for weeks, but things didn't start feeling serious until one night when his dream catcher began spinning on its own above his bed. At first, he brushed it off, but then he heard faint tapping sounds that seemed to respond when he spoke, which is when he decided to start recording.
Okay guys, I've been trying to literally communicate with something. Like, there's no AC on, it's winter, this window's cracked, but this has been moving and I've been trying to communicate with whoever's here, but it's not really communicating back now, and I kept hearing tapping. But like, I just want to show you, like, this is a normal day in my house. Like, my mom is, these are the rooms, my mom is downstairs cooking dinner, and these rooms are a mess, I know. My mom is down here cooking dinner. So this is what I like experience on a day-to-day basis. Like, weird stuff like this just normally happens. And okay. I love that. What fell over in here now? I don't even know. Oh my god. And nothing. Oh. Okay, that's weird. Is there anyone here that can give me a sign?
The camera captures the dream catcher still rotating steadily, even though the air in the room is completely still and the window is closed. To prove everyone else was elsewhere, Nick steps out of the room for a moment and then comes back, showing that it never stops moving. Almost immediately after, a sudden scurrying sound comes from his ensuite bathroom, sharp and fast, like something darting across the floor. Nick walks in cautiously, filming every corner, but there's nothing there at all. No animals, no open vents, nothing that could explain the noise. Growing more uneasy, he asks out loud for a clear sign that something is really there. Seconds later, an object drops to the floor beside him with a loud thud, causing him to jump back in shock. There's no one else in the room, and nothing visibly touched it. For Nick, that was the moment things crossed from unsettling to impossible to ignore. It picks up exactly where the last clip left off, with Nick still trying to explain the tapping sounds out loud, saying how they seemed to answer him whenever he spoke. Almost on cue, another sharp tap echoes back from somewhere in the room, louder and closer this time. You can hear the tension in his voice as he immediately calls out to his brother to make sure he wasn't messing with him or trying to scare him, and his brother clearly denies it, sounding just as confused. Trying to stay calm, Nick starts explaining the tapping again while walking toward a small storage room at the back of the house.
I keep hearing tapping. These walls are hollow. Whoa! Whoa! Okay. Ant, where are you?
I'm right here.
Did you see that?
No, I heard it.
That's insane. So things have been pretty quiet, I guess not, but these walls are hollow, and we kept hearing tapping on the backs of the walls. And inside here, this is the only hollow room. This is like cement. So I don't know. Holy shit. What was that? Oh my god. Okay, well, now you can see there's no strings, no nothing. There's a wall of glass behind it. Oh my gosh. What was that?
My shoulder.
Oh.
The moment he steps inside, something behind him suddenly crashes to the floor. He spins the camera around to reveal a stack of CDs scattered everywhere, knocked over all at once as if they were pushed. As he films them, the camera begins to lag and stutter, the audio warping slightly, making the whole scene feel even more off. Nick starts backing away, breathing fast, when another loud noise comes from deeper in the room. The footage then abruptly cuts out, ending the clip mid-moment and leaving no explanation for what caused any of it. Within the Jefferson Hotel, reports of paranormal activity have been piling up for years, but one incident in particular pushed things into genuinely unsettling territory. A guest staying in room 117 reportedly checked out in a panic after an encounter they said happened in the bathroom late at night. According to staff, the guest had been taking a bath when the room filled with steam, and words slowly began to appear on the mirror, as if written by an unseen hand. The message read, "You should leave." Thinking it was some kind of prank or condensation trick, they wiped the mirror clean. Moments later, as the steam built up again, a new message appeared, this time far more direct, telling them to get out. The guest immediately fled the room, leaving their belongings behind, and even losing the bathroom key in the process. Hotel staff later entered the room to investigate and document what had happened.
But we took some pictures. I'll show you the pictures real quick. These pictures were a little eerie. You can see right here is the get out. And we took a series of pictures. Well, in all these pictures, there's only 2 people with the exception of this one. See right there, there's a third face, and there should only be 2 because all the pictures only showed 2 people in there. So whoever this third face is, we don't know. It was kind of weird, but we did go in there this morning to try to fog it up again, and it didn't happen. So I'm not sure, how long the prank lasts, or if it was even a prank.
They show the photographs taken that night, capturing the messages as they appeared on the fogged mirror. What stands out is how unnatural the writing looks, uneven, distorted, and nothing like handwriting formed by a finger. In one of the images, viewers later noticed something even more disturbing. Faintly visible in the reflection is what appears to be a third face, semi-transparent, and not belonging to anyone who was supposed to be in the room at the time. Staff attempted to recreate the conditions by fogging up the bathroom again, and once more, the same message appeared on the glass without anyone touching it. After that, room 117 was quietly taken out of rotation for a period of time, and the hotel has never offered a clear explanation for what was captured there. In the following video, Ragalzu was working a night shift when the building was completely empty, and after hearing strange noises echoing through the halls, he decided to start filming to protect himself more than anything else. The place was dark, quiet, and lit only by his phone and a small flashlight, which made every sound feel amplified.
Mira, ahí pasó. Díganme que lo vieron. Se lo vio clarito. Mira, ahí pasó. Mira. Se lo vio clarito. Y pasó por el medio del patio. ¿Qué les dije? Mira. Negrito para acá fue. Para ahí. ¿Ven? Pasó por ahí, agachadito, corriendo por aquí. Se enfocó, ¿eh? Está al frente de ustedes, gente. Todas las cosas siempre más, digamos, turbias y fuertes. Me movieron un muñeco, movieron una silla, me golpeaban la campana, hacían un montón de quilombo y ahora cierran la puerta. Y bueno, pero yo dije que antes de irme voy a limpiar el lugar, que ninguna entidad tiene que permanecer aquí, ninguna entidad tiene que seguir en este lugar, porque van a venir niños. Van a venir niños y no tienen que seguir aquí. Me atravesó otra vez. Dios mío, me dejó encerrado. Ahora sí me dejó encerrado. ¿Ahora lo hace con esta también? Es un colegio. Sí, mira. Mira, no. ¿Ve? Él la cerró. Es más, hace rato, pero sí estoy en Santiago, hace rato se vio literalmente un duende cruzar. O sea, la figura de un niño cruzando por detrás mío. Uy, escuchen, escuchen. Está golpeando. Ahí la abrió. Ok. Vine por acá. Me dejó de golpear. Linda la noche en la escuela, ¿eh? Ah, ahí está volviendo la puerta. No tiene luz, pero habría que pasar un proceso para poder trascender y ¿A dónde, Mautrix, Gamin, dónde dice que se verían cosas locas? En el hospital me trabajo toda la noche. Estuve el sábado en un hospital abandonado. Y también logré captar una entidad bastante oscura. Yo esta puerta la voy a cerrar ya mejor.
As he walks forward, the camera catches what looks like movement behind a closed door ahead of him. A dark, human-shaped object, passing across it for just a second, like someone walking by on the other side. Ragalzu immediately panics and runs straight toward the door, shining his flashlight through the glass and then outside once he opens it. There's nothing there. No footsteps, no shadows, no place for anyone to hide. The area beyond the door is completely empty, and security later confirmed no one else was on site at the time. Whatever moved past that door was there only long enough to be seen, then vanished the moment he tried to confront it. A haunted foodie YouTuber was exploring an abandoned mental asylum, expecting nothing more than a quiet, eerie location for a casual exploration video. The building had been left to rot, with peeling paint, debris scattered across the floor, and long ward corridors filled with old hospital rooms. She films herself walking through one of the messiest sections, opening doors, and looking around while talking calmly to the camera. Her husband can be seen further down the corridor at one point, also looking around, making it clear they weren't alone in the building, but still very much alone in terms of other people.
I think this is the ward, actually. Oh my god, that's really, really new looking. Oh, it does smell like a hospital jar. Yeah. Oh, yeah, look. Does actually smell like a hospital. This seems a lot newer than the rest of the building. Whoa. Toilets in there. All the sinks are broken. Yet again, like I like to say in all of my abandoned. What's that? Whoa. They like pink tiles, don't they? What's in our room? There's another room in here. Shower. I don't like looking behind shower curtains. That just creeps me right out. The bathroom again there. That's pretty cool, that is. Smells like an hospital in this part, definitely.
As she pans the camera from a blank wall back toward the corridor, something unsettling happens without her noticing. At the far end of the hallway, a tall, dark figure is briefly visible standing near a doorway. Within a split second, it appears to react to the camera and slips behind the door, completely vanishing from view. The movement is quick but unmistakable when slowed down. She continues filming, unaware anything happened, and only realizes later when reviewing the footage. After spotting it, she shared the clip online, admitting that she had no explanation for who or what that figure could have been, especially since no one else was supposed to be anywhere near that part of the asylum. After watching this next clip, you'll definitely want a dash cam on your car. The footage comes from a vehicle driving along a highway, with the road ahead completely clear at first. It's late, visibility isn't great, and everything feels normal until something suddenly appears directly in the lane. A small, transparent figure that looks disturbingly like a child is standing in the middle of the road. The driver slows down instinctively, clearly panicking, but there's nowhere to swerve in time. The car passes straight through where the figure is standing, yet there's no impact, no sound, nothing in the mirrors afterward. The road behind them is empty. When the footage is slowed down, the figure doesn't react at all. It doesn't move, flinch, or turn its head. It just stays there as the car goes through it. Many people who've seen the clip believe it's the ghost of a child tied to that stretch of highway, while others can't explain how something so clear left absolutely no trace. Either way, it's the kind of footage that makes night driving feel a lot less routine and more abnormal. A cemetery security guard captured this unsettling footage while on patrol late at night with a co-worker, both of them filming because of repeated reports in the area.
I've been recording the whole time. Yo, me and Eon seen this bitch walking through the cemetery. Blowing it, running through the cemetery and landed on a tombstone.
Yeah, she was blowing it. She landed on the tombstone. She was blowing it. Hey, what you doing, girl?
Yo, that shit is creepy as...
What the f***?
What happened?
What the f*** you doing?
Why she touching other people's graves?
Yo, she just bust her head on the other grave, though.
Did she?
She got on no shoes, bro.
What she just grabbed?
A flower. She just grabbed a flower. She got on no shoes.
Yo, Boogie, we watching a ghost. She... Oh, don't say nothing to her. Don't say nothing to her. I'm scared as shit. Cause what if she, nigga, she knows where you live, nigga? Live across the street from the cemetery.
I'll shoot that bitch. Shoot that bitch.
Nigga, this bitch is crazy.
Yo, what the fuck?
Yo, what the f?
Yo, I see. Yo, where the blunt at? Pass the blunt. Pass the blunt. I cannot. Nah. She was blowing it. Did you see how she tripped over that tombstone?
She landed on a tombstone.
On it, on her head. And she planned this. Yo!
There's no way in fuck she planned this, Boogie.
Yo!
She ain't answering nobody. She ain't look at us.
Yo, girl, the whole way!
Yo, girl, in the whole way.
You scaring me! You really scaring me! You scaring the shit out of me! Yo! You scaring the shit out of me! Go home! Go home!
Yo, Boogie, she gonna come back and she gonna be sitting right in front of your house, nigga. And I'm gonna pop that bitch.
Her ass.
Yo, she ran through the cemetery and was walking.
Yo, I wish I still had that BB.
Yo, you gotta let her go. Maybe she's like hurting or something.
Why was she running that fast though?
But why she just stopped and take someone else? She took someone else's flower, nigga, from there.
Look, she's swinging it. She's having fun, B. Yo, I'm about to go karate kick this bitch.
Yo, this is the creepiest shit that I've ever seen in my life.
My nigga, yo, bitches had a picnic in there the other day.
A picnic, nigga. She has on all white and she's running and jumping on people's tombstones. Yo, you crazy bitch!
You the crazy bitch!
Nigga, she's jumping on people's tombstones.
What? And oh my God.
She's spinning this shit? Nah.
World star.
World star.
Where'd she go? Where'd she go? She disappeared. She disappeared.
In the distance, a young girl dressed entirely in white can be seen standing among the gravestones, her head tilted downward as if she's focused on something only she can see. The guards call out to her repeatedly, asking if she's lost or needs help, but she never responds, never even looks in their direction. Instead, she slowly walks between the graves, trailing her fingers across the tops of the headstones in a way that feels disturbingly deliberate. At one point, she bends down and takes a flower from a grave, holding it loosely before wandering further into the cemetery. The guards shout again, telling her to stop, but she ignores them completely and even takes another flower as if their presence means nothing to her. Then, without warning, she steps behind a large tombstone and vanishes. When the guards rush over to check after the footage ends, there's nobody there at all. No footsteps, no place she could have gone, just the cold silence of the cemetery. To this day, they have no explanation for who she was or where she disappeared to. Ricky is a well-known ghost hunter who's been investigating the same abandoned establishment for a long time, convinced that whatever is there hasn't left yet. In this clip, he's outside the building late at night, filming himself in a casual vlog style as he stands in silence. The area around him looks empty and quiet, with nothing but fencing and darkness behind him.
Hey!
As he continues talking, something strange happens in the background. Behind Ricky, beyond the fence, a tall, dark, black figure suddenly walks across the frame. It's not a shadow from him or the camera. It moves independently, passing through the background like a person calmly walking by. Ricky doesn't notice it at first, but viewers immediately point it out. A second later, he seems to sense something is wrong and spins around, spotting movement out of the corner of his eye. He breaks into a run toward the fence, shining his light and calling out. But when he reaches the exact spot where the figure was, there's nothing there at all. No person, no animal, no place for someone to hide. After reviewing the footage later, Ricky admits that this is one of the clearest things he's ever caught at that location, and it's only reinforced his belief that something is still roaming that property, watching him every time he visits. Someone named Tom was lying in bed late at night when he started hearing strange noises coming from his kitchen. The kind that are just loud enough to stop you from sleeping but not clear enough to explain. Uneasy, he grabbed his phone and began recording, aiming the camera toward the doorway that led out of his bedroom.
What the f...
For a while, nothing happens at all. The doorway stays dark and still, and the apartment feels empty, almost quiet enough to convince you it was all in his head. But then, slowly, something begins to appear. A circular black shape peeks out from the edge of the doorway, just enough to be noticeable, like a head cautiously leaning into view. It lingers there for a moment, completely silent, before slowly retreating back out of sight. The movement is deliberate, not fast or startled, almost like whatever it was knew it was being watched. Tom doesn't step closer or call out. He just keeps filming, breathing heavier as the doorway goes still again. Nothing else appears after that, but the way the shape emerged and hid makes the clip incredibly unsettling, leaving the impression that something was standing in his kitchen, watching him from the dark. A few days later, the activity hadn't stopped. In fact, it seemed bolder. Tom finds himself back in the exact same spot, standing this time, after hearing the familiar noises coming from the kitchen again. His voice sounds steadier, but there's tension in every word as he starts recording.
What the f? Who is out? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the f? Hello, who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the f? Please stop, please stop. This is my house. Leave, leave, this is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness.
As he slowly approaches the doorway, a loud clatter suddenly rings out from inside the kitchen, the unmistakable sound of something metallic hitting the floor, like cutlery being thrown from a counter. Almost immediately after, cabinet doors begin opening and slamming shut one after another, hard enough to echo through the apartment. Tom raises his voice now, telling whatever is in there to leave, to stop, to get out of his house. He sounds firm, almost authoritative, like he's trying to take control of the situation, but it doesn't work. The noises continue without hesitation, cabinets still moving as if his commands mean nothing at all. He backs away slightly, breathing faster, realizing that whatever was peeking at him days earlier wasn't intimidated. If anything, it sounded like it was responding by getting louder. Tom later said this was the moment he truly understood he wasn't alone in that apartment, and whatever was in his kitchen had no intention of leaving just because he asked. Chris had brought out a Ouija board the night before with his friend, hoping to finally get some kind of response after everything that had been happening around his house. But the plan fell flat, and the board stayed silent the entire time. Now he was home alone, trying to convince himself that the quiet meant things were settling down. But the house had that strange stillness that always made him feel like something was listening. He was sitting in the living room when a sudden knock echoed through the house, even though no one was at the door, followed by a soft tapping that seemed to come from the room he was in. Take a look.
A lot of y'all's gonna be mad at me, but me and my cousin broke this out. Messed with it last night.
Dad had sex on a Ouija board. Oh boy.
We did it the proper way, though. I know this is a kid's toy, but y'all don't understand the kind of shit y'all's getting into when y'all fuck with this. At least some people don't. I heard it, but I didn't see it. I still hear it. You can hear that, can't you? I can. Sound like tapping. everybody's like, oh, it's the hutch. It's the hutch. Can't do it again. This is a selfie stick I taped to a tripod.
He stood up and looked around, expecting to find something obvious, but the room was empty and nothing moved except for the faint shift of shadows from the lamp. A whisper slipped through the air behind him, a quiet hello that he didn't even register at first because it sounded too close and too low to make sense. Before he could process the stillness, the camera stand beside him toppled over on its own, hitting the floor with a sudden clatter that made him jump. He picked it up and propped it back into place, trying to laugh it off, but the uneasy feeling lingered like whatever whispered at him was still standing right behind his shoulder. Chris was sitting in his living room later that night, with the TV playing softly beside him and his dog curled up at his feet, trying to enjoy the quiet, even though the house kept giving him that uneasy feeling again. The tapping started up just like before, faint and scattered, and then the door started to vibrate.
Stop chewing on me. I'm sorry, y'all. He's just playing. It may be loud on my phone. I don't know yet. But yeah, we're just chilling. And I swear, up and down, I could have swore the door was vibrating. It's a sliding door. Slides into the wall. There it goes. It's making me shake a little bit. I'm sorry.
That scared the shit out of me. How do I turn this to the light?
While he stroked the dog, the door across the room began to vibrate like something on the other side was pushing against it. And this is the moment that he pulled out the camera and kept it aimed straight at the door. The door slid open just a little on its own, then slowly crept even farther, revealing a deeper patch of darkness behind it that made the room feel colder. After a few seconds, it opened all the way, swinging wide until the entire doorway was visible and completely empty. Not a single movement inside. Chris stood up with his dog watching closely, walked toward the room, and flipped the light on. The space was perfectly still, every corner untouched, literally not a soul in sight. The silence felt even heavier than before, like whatever opened the door had stepped back just out of reach the moment he crossed the threshold. We might see more of Chris in future videos. The hospital room looked totally ordinary on camera, just a standard space with a bed in the center, a chair pushed against the wall, a small table with folded blankets, and the usual equipment sitting quietly in standby. Nothing looked out of place, and the frame stayed steady for a while, showing a perfectly normal scene with no movement at all. Out of nowhere, a strange, uneven sound slipped into the audio, almost like a motor trying to start even though nothing in the room was supposed to be running, and the backrest of the bed began lifting on its own in small, awkward jumps. It kept rising higher, little by little, climbing at a slow, steady angle until it was nearly upright at 90 degrees, with no one near the controls and nothing touching it. The rest of the room stayed exactly the same, the chair still, the other equipment untouched, every corner frozen except for that single, impossible movement. When the noise finally stopped, the bed stayed locked in that upright position, leaving the room looking perfectly normal again, except for the one thing that clearly hadn't moved by itself. Sabia had a security camera set up in her kitchen in the Netherlands, just a regular feed showing the table and a few candles sitting untouched near the back wall. Everything looked calm for a while, nothing unusual happening at all except for a few soft orbs drifting across the screen like dust catching the light. Then, without any movement around it, the candle suddenly sparked to life, a quick flash that turned into a steady flame, as if someone had just struck a match right beside it. Nothing else shifted in the room, no breeze touched the wick, and there was no one standing anywhere near it. The flame held perfectly still after forming, burning like it had been lit on purpose, even though Sabia knew the candle had been cold for hours. The rest of the kitchen stayed completely normal on camera, but the sudden light from the wick made the whole space feel different, like something unseen had stepped in just long enough to leave a mark, before disappearing again. A few nights later, Sabia checked another piece of security footage, this time from the sitting room, and the scene looked completely still at first, with the furniture exactly where it always stayed, and the time on the right showing it was practically midnight. The camera picked up a few drifting orbs crossing the frame like pale specks floating through the air, the same kind she had seen in the kitchen earlier, but nothing else seemed off until the corner of the room shifted. A chair that had been pushed neatly into the corner slid forward on its own, moving in one smooth line across the floor, even though no one was near it. More orbs drifted by in clusters right after, almost like the movement stirred something up, and then the painting on the wall began tilting slowly side to side as if an invisible hand was nudging it. The rest of the room stayed perfectly quiet. No shadows moving, no lights flickering, just the chair out of place and the painting swaying gently before settling back into place. Watching it all unfold at midnight made the sitting room feel less like a normal part of the house and more like another spot where something unseen was making itself known piece by piece. Who knows if it continued, because this is the last we heard from Sabia. In the following video, Stephen was washing dishes with the usual evening noises in the background, the sink running, the faint hum of the fridge, and nothing out of the ordinary until something suddenly tapped hard against the middle of his back and bounced onto the floor behind him. The sound made him jerk around with that instant confusion where your brain tries to catch up to what your body already felt, and he had no idea what could have hit him because he knew no one else was supposed to be that close.
Dude, I'm a little wigged out right now. So I was washing dishes and just putting things away, and all of a sudden I feel something hit me in the back and I heard it bounce. Look at this shit. And this ball hits me in the back right shoulder out of nowhere. And what's even crazier is look where Avery's at. Now mind you, I just got done washing the air fryer and was drying it off. Whatever it was had a little bit of force. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Lauren's been in bed for almost 2 days. Like, she gets up for a little bit, but she has not felt good at all. And Avery, let's just face it, if he's not watching his tablet, he's on the Oculus or he's outside. And I knew with it being like 12 o'clock, he's inside. So I have no idea. Now I have a lot of activity. It's not like malicious or anything, but that right there was the first time that's happened. So I don't know, what do y'all think about it?
When he cut to the CCTV footage, The camera clearly showed a small ball shooting across the room and hitting him square in the back before dropping to the floor, and the look on his face as he turned around said everything about how unexpected it was. He switched the feed over to another part of the house where his son Avery was sitting in plain view, completely occupied and nowhere near the kitchen, just to make it absolutely clear it couldn't have been him messing around. The replay showed no one behind Stephen, no shadows moving, no sign of any trick, just the ball launching on its own and hitting him like it had been tossed by someone he couldn't see. Elysia was alone at her storage unit in the middle of the day, filming down the long, narrow corridor that always felt eerie, but she never really questioned it. The overhead lights buzzed softly, reflecting off the rows of identical metal doors, while her voice echoed down as she told us about what was happening. She wasn't expecting anything at all until she started filming, just checking on a few things she had stored away, when something at the very end of the hallway caught her attention.
I'm over here at the storage, and I don't know if it's me, but y'all tell me I don't see that. Oh no. I don't know if it's just a fan like going in and out, but the is that? Duh. I don't. Maybe I'm bugging. No, I know y'all just see that, right? Oh!
A dark shape peeked out from the corner, a black blob leaning just far enough around the wall for its outline to show before sliding back out of sight again. She kept filming, trying to convince herself it was a trick of the light, but the shape returned a second later, then slipped away, then peeked again like it was deliberately watching her from the far end of the corridor. Nothing else in the hallway moved, no doors rattled, no shadows shifted, except for that one shape darting back and forth behind the last wall. The emptiness made the whole place feel colder, and the repeated movements left her with the awful sense that whatever was hiding around that corner wasn't trying to avoid her at all, but was studying her from a distance she couldn't close. In the follow-up clip, Elysia returned to the storage facility in the daytime, hoping the daylight would make the place feel less threatening, but the moment she stepped inside, she realized it didn't help at all. The entire corridor was pitch dark, even though the building should have been fully lit during business hours. She was the only customer there, with only a couple of staff somewhere in the front office, so she decided to walk in anyway.
Alright, y'all. I'm finally back at this place. And you know, I'm in the process of moving in and out. Right now, and nobody here. Like, listen. If I see something again, I'm definitely reporting to the manager to put up that video, because I'm not playing. There's one car over there, but I'm just gonna see, because right now everything's dark. Like inside there, I don't know if you can see it, but it's dark. Like, look how scary that shit is, bro. This is why I hate doing this shit, but I got no choice. This here. See, like, I know when you go in, it censors somebody that's here. Oh, fuck. So. See, that's that shit that be scary. And, like, I'm on the second floor. Okay. I know that this lady probably lives here or she does her business here, but she's here every single day, nonstop. If that chair's not there, she's not here. If the chair's there, she's there. And, yeah, so I don't know if she lives there or does her little business there. Yeah, anyways, yeah, I don't know. Alright. Listen, see, this is my storage. And I'm honestly, I'm like acting like you guys are human or bitch, I might be living here tonight. No. I'm not doing this. There's no way There's no way I'm in the storage stuck in this shit. Hello! Oh my god.
As soon as she crossed the motion sensor, the overhead lights flickered on one by one, illuminating the long hallway in a way that instantly reminded her of the last video. She went upstairs to the second floor, unlocked her storage unit, and began recording inside while she rearranged a few items. Out of nowhere, the sound of something sliding echoed from directly outside the unit. A long, dragging noise like metal or plastic scraping across the floor. Elysia froze, staring toward the open doorway before rushing forward and pulling the metal shutter down as fast as she could, trapping herself safely inside so whatever had caused the noise couldn't get in. She waited quietly, breathing hard, but the sliding sound didn't repeat. Later that day, staff reviewed the CCTV for her, and the cameras confirmed it. Nobody else had entered that floor at all during the time she was there, making the situation far more unnerving than she wanted to believe. In the following video, a man was standing in his living room late at night claiming he heard a glass make a soft ting sound, as if it had lightly tapped against another on its own. He starts filming, confused, while his cat walks toward him meowing in a way that clearly shows it was just as startled. He keeps the camera pointed toward the glass and asks out loud if it might be coming from the strange African mask sitting across the room, a piece he has always found unsettling.
I just heard it. I swear I heard this glass go ting. You know, like that noise. Even the cat's coming over to investigate. Yeah, I know, some weird shit's happening, isn't it, Kitty? There's the weird mask. Something freaking you out, Kitty? Huh? Yeah, I swear it was that glass. The weird African mask, is it you? Could be the African mask. Brought some voodoo magic. What the f— Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! I'm running over here and that couldn't be. Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Oh fuck. That is so weird. I am freaking the f out. Oh shit.
Just as he finishes his sentence, the kitchen tap beside him suddenly turns itself on full force, the sound echoing through the room as he jumps back and yells in shock. He quickly lunges forward to turn it off, his breathing sharp, and retreats to the opposite corner of the room with the cat still staring toward the mask. Nothing else moves after that, but between the strange glass noise, the cat's reaction, and the tap activating on its own, he is convinced something in that room was trying to get his attention. A few days after the tap incident, he found himself dealing with something even stranger when he was just trying to use the bathroom. He said he was sitting on the toilet when he suddenly heard a loud beeping sound coming from downstairs, which made no sense because nothing in his house should have been making that noise. Curious and uneasy, he grabbed his phone and started recording as he made his way down the steps.
Right, I just started recording again. Because I'm sat on the toilet and I can hear something beeping downstairs, and the only thing that beeps like that is the fridge. Like, if it only beeps like that when the fridge door is open. I don't even look. Oh my God. What the f— just gonna sit here. Whoa, did that wire just move? No. Whoa, what the f? What the f? What? Oh no. It's actually moving, man. It looks like a snake or some shit. What the f? Lampshades going as well. They're like moving towards it. What the fuck? Whoa! No! 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 Fucking hell, the cable flew over there. That was what was moving in the bowl. That little wooden insect stick fucking thing. Milk bottle.
The moment he reached the bottom, he froze because the fridge was standing wide open, even though he swore he never touched it. He sat on the stairs for a moment, waiting for anything else to happen, and right then, a wire sitting inside a bowl on top of the fridge began to move in this slow, unnatural slithering motion, like something invisible was dragging it around. The light in the kitchen swayed closer to the wire as if the two were weirdly connected, and before he could process that, an empty milk carton suddenly fell out of the refrigerator on its own. He bolted back upstairs in full panic, but returned a moment later to find both kitchen lights swinging this time and a Coke bottle now lying on the floor. At this point, he said he was genuinely terrified because none of it could be explained, and whatever was in his house seemed to be getting stronger. Once the fridge incident ended, he was sitting on the couch at around 3 in the morning watching TV, trying to shake off the feeling that the activity had finally calmed down. But the longer he sat there, the more he kept getting this horrible sense that someone was standing on the staircase behind him, just watching. It got to a point where the feeling got so strong he couldn't even focus on the screen anymore, so he had to hit record.
Right, I just thought I'd start recording again. I was just sat watching TV for a bit. It's like 3 in the morning. Just turned it off to go to bed. It was just getting the weirdest feeling that someone was stood behind me, like sat on the stairs almost looking at me. It's making the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. And usually I would just kind of palm it off and tell myself stupid and forget about it, but given recent events, I'm not gonna lie, I'm letting it get to me a little bit. It's freaking me the fuck out. It's really freaking me out. It's really, really freaking me out. I left this little note, yes and no, with a £1 coin. Kind of asked it a few questions before I left earlier to go watch the boxing, and it hasn't moved, so that didn't really work. But yeah, I just feel like right there, man. Me and my dad used to live in this house. It was a bit weird. He used to hear footsteps upstairs, and my dad would say that he used to feel like, what's up? What the? Did you hear that jingle then? Hear that jingle? That definitely. What the fuck is going on in this house? And my cat as well just keeps doing this. My cat just keeps walking around meowing, which is also freaking me out. Fucking so weird. So weird. Are you here to hurt me? Are you here to do me harm? Are you friendly? Whoa, what the? Nah. Off. No way. What the? No, man. No way that just moved. Loki? Loki? You need to get out of my house, whatever you are, whoever you are, you need to leave. You need to leave right now. Fuck's sake.
He left a piece of paper and wrote yes on one side and no on the other, then placed a coin in the middle to see if anything would respond. For a while, nothing budged, and he even sighed, thinking maybe it wouldn't work. But then a sudden jingle echoed from right next to him, like something metallic dangling had been nudged. And immediately after that, a fast, scurrying noise shot across the floor behind him. His cat started pacing around anxiously, meowing toward the staircase like it was reacting to something he couldn't see. Trying to stay calm, he asked out loud if whatever was there was trying to hurt him. Nothing. Completely silent. Then he asked a different question, his voice shaking, asking if it was friendly. The coin slowly slid across the paper and stopped over the word no. A man was checking a graveyard site early in the morning because there was a funeral scheduled later that day, and he wanted everything to look presentable before the family arrived. It was completely silent around him, nothing but headstones, trimmed grass, and the quiet breeze moving through the trees. While walking between two rows of graves, he suddenly flinched and grabbed his arm, feeling a sharp sting like something had burned him. When he lifted his sleeve, there was a fresh red scratch across his skin, thin and bright as if it had just been made. Nobody else was there. No branches, no tools, nothing that could have brushed against him. The moment it happened, he pulled out his phone and began recording to document the rest of what he was experiencing.
So I'm here this morning just to check, the site for one of our funerals today. And I'm checking the site. Nothing around me besides graves. And I feel this burn on my arm. I don't know if you can see that, but pretty deep raised scratch. I don't know what the hell. So it's a Monday morning, start of a new week. maybe it'll be a good week. I don't see anything out of place or odd in the garage. Didn't see any prints or anything like that. So, Jesus Christ! What the f?
The footage cuts to the cemetery's small maintenance garage, where he had gone to see if maybe some animal or loose equipment had caused the scratch. Despite this being completely delusion, he barely gets near the door before something slams hard against the metal shutters from the inside, loud enough to echo across the graveyard. He jumps back instantly, pointing the camera at the shaking panels, but nothing tries it again. The entire place is still, completely empty, and the door stays shut. Between the unexplained scratch and whatever hit the shutters, he felt like something in that graveyard did not want him there, and after this recording, he left the area immediately. CCTV footage from inside a children's bedroom captured one of the most disturbing clips this family has ever seen. Runa, the little boy sitting calmly on the bed, is playing with his device while his older sister moves around the room behind him. Nothing seems unusual at first, but then she suddenly jolts and is yanked downward toward the gap under the bed, as if something unseen grabbed her ankles. She immediately starts crying and trying to resist, clearly being pulled by force.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Ayah, demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret Jena. Demi Allah, jangan berteriak. Demi Allah. Demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret Jena. Bener-bener astagfirullahaladzim. Nggak jangan jelas. Nenek di depan. Kamu mau ke dalam ya? Demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret, sumpah demi Allah. Bukan dia pergi. Abang Afri. Siapa nih? Bukan ya?
Runa just sits there frozen for a few moments, unsure what to do before getting his mom's attention. When she rushes in, the girl is still halfway under the bed, gripping the frame in panic. The mother tries to pull her out and struggles against a resisting force that makes the process take several seconds. Another woman enters to help, and they ultimately have to lift the entire bed up just to free her. Nothing under it, nothing around it, nothing that could have dragged her the way the footage shows. The family is convinced something was under that bed with her, and this clip might be one of the clearest pieces of evidence they've ever captured. The woman filming the next clip is called Marlene, and she had been dealing with strange occurrences at her workplace for weeks. But on this particular day, the activity seemed to escalate all at once. She starts recording after hearing a series of random taps echoing from inside the walls, the kind that didn't match pipes, heating, or anything mechanical. As she films quietly, the building's ambient music suddenly turns itself on and off, almost like someone flicked a switch. Then the overhead lights shift shade, dimming slightly, and brightening again with no warning.
Like, this is not a joke. Oh my god. Where the fuck did the music come from? And the music just stopped.
god, literally no one oh my god, oh my god! Literally nothing here. Like, nothing. Like, I don't know what the all that noise was about, but there's nothing here. Nothing. It's insane. Oh my god. I'm so fun. Oh my god, the light is off.
As she walks through the hallway, more taps follow her, accompanied by what sounds unmistakably like footsteps, despite nobody else being in the building. Marlene keeps her composure and climbs the narrow ladder to the attic to show viewers what's actually up there, and sure enough, it's completely empty. No workers, no pests, no equipment running, just dust and insulation. She comes back down, and she's starting to feel watched, only to turn the camera and realize the light she had left on moments earlier is now completely off. She insists nobody else has access to the building during her shift, and with the footsteps, the tapping, the music flickering on and off, and the lights behaving on their own, she thinks whatever is in her workplace doesn't want her there.